I'm tired of sitting around the house. I'm tired of sitting around the house. It makes me wanna lose my mind. And everybody wants to waste my time.
What are you doing, man? Why'd you say yes? Why? You're not cut out for this. You can't do this, man. Come on, man. You got this. You can do it. You can't. You've been through worse. You've made it through worse things. So you telling me you're afraid to do this? Really? You? Hair dry? How you gonna be a host with dry hair? How? Look at this. Oh man, I look like this. They got this is cold or hot. Oh, they actually got hot water in here. Look at that. I might move in this thing.
Hey.
What's up?
Ready for your monologue?
Right now?
Yeah, let's go. Got this. All right, so listen, you got your monologue up top, and you got segment A with the expert, and then segment B is going to be the artist, but I think we're going to switch to segment A. Are you getting all of this?
Yeah.
Why are you limping?
Cause I hurt my back tying my shoe.
Tie your... Good thing you sitting on your butt. It's a talk show, baby. You ain't got to be talented.
All right, slow down.
Okay, Monroe, here you go. You're going to do your monologue, and this talk show is going to be a hit. I feel it in my bones.
All right.
Don't you feel it?
I think so.
All right, so let me know when you're ready, and I'll come and get you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to System Failure. I am MonroeMartin. Julia Roberts was slated to be Harriet Tubman, right? History. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
What do you mean you don't know what you're doing?
It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. I don't know why I'm not confident.
Okay.
I'm not confident.
You've been a stand-up for a really long time. You've been talking all your life. Put the two together. It's a talk show.
I know, but there's more responsibility. But I'm doing stand-up and no responsibility. They drunk.
This is not that deep, okay? You're a grown-ass man. You'll figure it out.
How do you know I'm a grown-ass man? I don't even feel like a grown-ass man. I don't think anybody really feels grown.
I'm grown.
How do you know?
Because I'm a grown-ass motherfucking woman.
Hold up.
Hey, sir, can I ask you a question? Do you feel like an adult? Like, do you feel like you're an adult person?
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
What makes you an adult? Is it money? Is it responsibilities? Is it that you don't live with your parents anymore?
I mean, I don't know. I'm a guy I have kids and I play video games. I don't even know if I'm an adult.
That's good though, right? Because I paid taxes as a kid and I never felt like an adult. I pay taxes now and I just feel like I'm being bullied. I don't feel like I'm an adult. Like, do you feel like you know more than your parents now?
I mean, I guess, yeah, sure. I don't know. This is weird. I don't know. I've never had this happen to me before.
Yeah, see, that's a part of being an adult, being caught off guard.
Hey, man, I'm MonroeMartin. You probably don't have any clue who the hell I am. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about what it means to be an adult. Wait, who are you?
Never mind, it doesn't matter.
What's the hardest part about being an adult that no one told you?
Debt.
Debt?
Yes, debt.
Yeah, you just don't have to pay it, though.
It's cheaper to get a new social and a new birth certificate than it is to pay whatever money you owe to credit card companies.
Sally Mae will find you, bro.
No. Since you have debt, does that mean you have roommates? And does that make you less of an adult?
Yes, I have roommates, but no, it doesn't make me less of an adult because you're not an adult till you can hear other people have sex in your apartment and be cool with it.
All right.
Yeah.
I got it.
What makes you an adult? Common sense or money?
I want to say common sense, because anybody can have money when you think about it. Like, I remember I was a kid at 7, I received $20 in my birthday card. I did not thinking I was adult at all.
Really?
No.
I get $2. I'm the man of this house
With
right now.
$2.
With $2?
Yeah, see, you have no sense right there, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're doing better than your parents?
Yep, I actually do think I'm doing so much better than my parents that I'm alive.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They died?
Died. Yeah,
but were
unfortunately.
they great before they died?
No, I don't want to say that was that great, but they had potential. They really did. They had a lot of potential.
What's something that no one told you about being an adult?
Oh my God, nobody. I wish they would have told me that, like, as you become an adult, your bones start to hurt. Like, I feel like I can be my own weather woman, because I swear, when it gets cold outside, that's when my bones are aching me the most.
Oh, so you should come live with me. You'll be a good thermostat. I'm like, down my old knees hurting. It means I need to wear a coat. You know, walking around like, ugh.
No, it is cold, so make sure you button up.
All right. You look like a kid, but do you feel grown?
No.
What makes you an adult?
Money, I guess.
Money? You think money makes you an adult? How much money would make you an adult?
75 grand a year.
75 grand a year. There's a lot of kids in YouTube making 75 grand a year. Are they adults? Should they be able to be like, go to your room, mom?
If they paying their mama's bills.
So if you were paying your mom's bills, you would be like, you would respect her less?
I'd be like, I pay the lights around here. Now let me go back to opening these toy boxes for these weird children on YouTube.
I would get the clapper. Remember the clapper? I would all lights off, and I'll clap them off.
What are you doing with the lights off?
I don't know. Adults always want you
Kids
to
do
turn the
weird
lights
shit
off.
with the lights off.
What'd you do with the lights off?
That's inappropriate.
What makes you an adult? Common sense or money?
Common sense. You gotta know what to do with your money.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, Justin Bieber's got money. Let me ask you, are you an adult?
I think so. I got a cat. I got a wife. I pay cable bill, Netflix.
Yo, pre-interview upstairs. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Chanel Ali, what's up, baby?
Yo.
Oh, snap. What's up?
I
Hey,
think you was gonna come. I was like, how long was sitting
I'm
here?
glad you're here.
This is
Jesus
nice.
Christ, they got me running around.
I know, but this is nice. This is cute.
It is. This is better than what I expected.
I know. I thought you was gonna have like a green screen you got off Amazon or something like that, but this is like officially.
Yeah. All right. So this is what we got to do. We got to do some like pre-interview. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
I got
yeah.
to interview you before I actually interview on your show.
Right.
That way we get like some practice.
Practice.
And I already know you, so it wouldn't be that hard.
This will be fine. You
They,
know.
they didn't teach us this in foster care.
No, they didn't.
No. What
they
do they
didn't.
teach you in foster care?
To be quiet, mostly.
To be quiet.
Not
and-
make a mess.
Yeah.
Make it seem like you don't even live here. That's what foster care felt like for me. I don't know. What about you?
It felt the same way. It taught me how to pack in a hurry.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I
yes.
can pack, like when I go on the road, I can pack in like 12 minutes, yo.
And light.
And
I packed
light.
so light.
I stuffed the drawers inside the socks,
Yo.
and then the socks and drawers inside the shoes.
You ain't seen nobody roll some jeans until you see me
Roll some jeans.
jeans.
I wear the same jeans.
One pair of jeans.
One pair
That's
of
all we
jeans,
need.
2 pair of drawers for the whole weekend. Just turn them
I
inside out.
don't even know how to splurge on myself on clothes. I barely know how to do it because it feels wrong.
It does feel wrong because you're like, I don't deserve this.
I could be starving tomorrow,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna have these shoes.
Jesus, I'm happy.
It's good lessons though. It made us like real efficient hustlers.
Yeah, it does. I think about like being married now, and like you just said that. It's like I'm very quiet. My wife was like, "Why is everything in like a bin? Like everything in my house that's mine is in like a 18-gallon bin that
space
just snaps."
That you're like, I put my stuff away.
I put it away.
It's over here.
And just in case this don't work out, look, it's ready to go. It's ready. It's trunk ready.
That's some real shit you are talking right now.
Yeah.
They never prepare you for that at 5. They're not like, hey, listen, you're gonna struggle with like taking up space when you
Yeah.
get older. You know?
Do you feel in the way
Yeah. All
Yeah?
the time.
all the time?
If I stay with somebody, if I'm on the road and they let me crash with them, I'm always like, if they give me a towel, I'll fold it back up
Yeah.
and ask where I can put it or try to wash my dish. Like I always feel that energy of I don't want to seem like I'm a nuisance or a burden on anybody. You
Yeah.
know, like I want everybody to feel like I'm very grateful to be in whatever space they gave me, and I've always been that way. Obviously,
Yeah.
since
And in your
moving around.
adulthood, like, how do you feel transitioning from a foster kid to a foster adult. I say a foster adult.
Yeah.
I call myself a foster adult. I'm like, look, I have no idea what's going on. People still take care of me.
We're still self-parenting, you know? It's just on a higher level.
Okay.
I feel like I think one of the main differences is that you have to hold yourself much more accountable than you used to, you know? Because as a kid, there was somebody that could get in trouble if you got in trouble, you know? There was somebody else that would have to answer to why you were out doing whatever. Yeah. But as soon as you turn 18 and exit foster care, ain't nobody checking on you.
Yeah,
nobody's calling in to see what time you got home last night or if
but
you
that's
did
weird,
anything.
Though.
It's a lot. It really forces you to decide, like, am I going to be disappointed with myself if I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do? So it's good and it's bad because it's also like you don't have anybody to hold you back.
Yeah.
Nobody can say, well, you can't do that or you shouldn't do that. You have to learn that lesson. You have to try and fail and then learn afterwards.
I think that's what makes us better at comedy.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That we're just like, there's no net.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? There's no backup plan for this.
Nothing. What?
Like, if this public access show don't work out, where am I go?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. It has to work out.
Yes, they bought this green screen.
It has to work out.
Ain't no plan B. If there was a plan B, I would be doing it. Yeah. I would be over there.
When did you feel like a success story?
When?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
You know
when
what?
did you feel like I'm an adult, I'm in this groove
Yeah.
of my career and my passion? Like, when did you finally go, I'm successful, like I'm not a nobody?
You know,
like, when did it hit you?
I think I had a couple of pillars that I felt like I hit. Like the first I felt like was graduating college. For me, that was a huge deal.
Yeah.
It felt like something that, especially in foster care, people were like, maybe you shouldn't even try to go to college. You should
Did
just
you go, like, you stayed on campus?
The first 2 years.
Yeah.
And then I got an apartment at Temple.
You went to Temple? Mm-hmm. That's like the hardest school to get into if you're from Philly.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But I got in there. I had very good grades. I had
Very good grades?
Very good grades.
Oh, we're the polar opposite then.
Yeah?
I terrible grades.
I can see that.
Really? If this reads?
I can see you being like, homework. I'm not doing that.
I was that kid in the back, coat on, knocked out.
No, you was cracking jokes, disrupting.
Yeah, I would do both.
Yeah. So I felt like college was a big pillar, but definitely moving to New York, after maybe like 2 years in New York of doing comedy and feeling like I was starting to make money off comedy, I was like, you did this shit.
Yeah.
You got on a mega bus and you moved to New York City with one suitcase and a lot of doubt.
One suitcase?
I sold everything. Before I moved to New York, I sold everything I owned except one suitcase full of a few clothes items, like not even a lot. Yeah. Because I just wanted to be so focused on it. I didn't want to be distracted by keeping up with things or maintaining things at home, putting stuff in storage. I was like, I don't need any of that. Yeah. I'm going to sell it all, take the money with me, and I'm going to get those things back in time, you know?
I couldn't sell none of my shit.
Yeah?
I tried. I still had the TV with the cassette, with like the VCR thing in it.
Yeah.
I still had that.
Wow.
In 2009.
And people were like, we don't want this.
Yeah, I couldn't even throw it in the trash. Couldn't even put it outside.
They're like, get
they
this
put
out
it right
here.
back on the porch. They're like, no. We don't know what to do with this shit.
It was ballsy, but I don't regret it. If I go back in time, I would do it the exact same way again. I would do it just like that.
That's dope.
Because a lot of those things that I sold, I got back. Like, literally in gifts, I got them back from people that saw me hustling and knew I needed things, like a desk. Yeah. And they were like, yo, we want to help you. You're working so hard. Like, here, take this. I'm not using it.
Better quality than it was before?
I'd say about equal.
Equal quality?
It almost looked exactly like the stuff I had sold.
Actually. Oh, shit. So it's just like they were renting it.
Yeah.
It's like, here's a bag. Here's this IKEA desk.
But I mean, obviously one of my biggest successes was getting on Girl Code.
Yeah.
Not too long after I moved here. And I feel like I did that with energy. I did that with my brain.
Yeah.
Because when I was in Philly, I used to watch that show and I would be so focused on it. I would get up to the TV like, how do you get on the show?
Yeah.
How do you do it? And I just kept thinking about it and just like focusing on it and doing my best on stage until one day a guy was in the crowd and he was like, hey, I'm a producer for Girl Code. He saw me at like a coffee shop in Brooklyn.
I know who it was.
Yeah, I'm sure you know who it was.
Yeah.
And he DM'd me on Instagram and was like, yo, I can't even get you an audition, but if you do a self-tape, I'll show it to the director. And so I went home, I did my makeup, I set up the lighting, and I just pretended like I was already on it, and I got on there.
That's dope. I was excited when I seen you in the
lobby.
The lobby, right?
That was my first day.
What the hell are you doing there?
You helped me find where it was. I didn't even know where it was.
Yeah.
You were like, you need to go in here and get your makeup done. I was like, I'm going to get makeup done.
Get your snack. They had a little snack table for us. It was very little snacks. It
and
was
I'll never forget they had a hair and makeup lady, and that was my first time having like two ladies work on me, and it was two black women, and they were really fussing because they wanted me to look good. Yeah. And at the end, I said to them, I was like, oh, this must be what it feels like to have a mom. And they were like, They were like, we were not ready for you to make a joke that harsh. And I was like, well, thank you. Y'all my moms now. I do that all the time. I make people my parents real quick. You my uncle. You don't even know.
I don't even know if
You
your
don't
uncle.
even know.
I'm a terrible uncle.
Man.
I come around, I give $1 every once in a while. But
see, that's
it.
foster kid syndrome. It's like, I want family, but I don't want to talk to y'all too much.
That's it.
Yeah. Like, I want you to check in, but not too much.
Yeah. So how much do you reveal about foster care to like coworkers and like people you're dating?
Man, I pick and choose. Because sometimes that conversation can be uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah.
So if I meet somebody casually and they're like, well, what do your parents think of you doing comedy? I'll be like, they love it. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to go into the whole spiel of, I don't have parents, I was a foster kid, ain't nobody checking on me. But sometimes that could be heavy, like if it's a cab driver, you know? It can be a heavy conversation. So I'll be like, they're both doctors, they're very proud, they think I'm hilarious. But most of the time, if I'm really like getting to know somebody, I'll tell them, I'll be like, I actually don't have parents. I've been orphaned since age 2, and I just, I decided to do comedy, and luckily I don't have anybody to disappoint. Nobody is disappointed in my career path because nobody cares. It's just me, and I gotta deal with the decisions that I make. But that affects my relationships too, and especially in dating, because I feel like I'll date someone, and let's say they're doing something with their life that they feel like their parents don't like, and they'll be dealing with that conundrum of my dad's disappointed or my dad this, and I'll be like, I don't understand that. Like that's an emotion that I can't really identify with, because I've never had anybody else be in a position where they could tell me what I was doing with my life was wrong and I could care about what they were saying, because I was like, you don't take care of me, you didn't bring me into this world, did you?
No, you were like, did you? And if you did,
where were you in '88?
I feel the same way. I held it like for a long time. I didn't tell people I was a foster kid.
So what would you say?
I would just say my aunt, and then I was like, oh, this is my aunt, and then people started going, yo, how many aunts do you have? Like, how big is this family? You got a lot. You got a light-skinned aunt, you got a Jamaican aunt, you got a Haitian aunt.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, family was busy. I didn't tell people until I started doing comedy.
Because you felt like the conversation was not worth it. You were like, this is too much.
It was that, but it was also just like I hung around people who had their biological family, but their biological family wasn't shit.
Oh, I see that all the time.
You know?
People will be like, well, I have both my parents. And I'm like, yeah, but they're trash. They seem terrible. They're hurting you. They're hurting you all the time.
Look, I just watched them beat you in the head with a boot.
Totally.
I seen that. I didn't do sleepovers. Did you do sleepovers?
Very rarely.
Very rarely? Because you weren't allowed to. It was like against the law.
Yeah. They were really worried about us.
Yeah.
But only they were only because we were,
money.
A responsibility on paper.
Yeah.
So they can't have us just disappearing, or they can't have someone saying, well, who told her she could go over there? You're supposed to be her guardian,
Yeah.
That guardian label, they took it very loose.
They were like, look,
checks.
Just be here when the sun goes down. That was the whole thing.
Please.
Like, sun goes down, be here. I would have to find my own food. Did you have to do that? When did you learn how to cook?
Very early, but I was like boxed macaroni and cheese, hot dogs for a long time. Like I was
Did
so
you put
young.
some peas in it?
No vegetables. We weren't doing vegetables. No.
Boxed macaroni and cheese with
Hot
hot dog on the side, and then you take some frozen peas, and then you pour it inside. I'm telling you. It's delicious.
No, you chop up the hot dogs. You put it in the mac and cheese, and you mix it.
Look, I'm real nervous about the show.
Yeah.
Can you help me out? Like, what are the tips you usually give me, yo? Like, give me some tips.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to take a deep breath.
How deep?
Let it go.
Deeper than that?
Yeah, but let it go also.
That's
an
it?
important part. In through your nose and out through your mouth. See how that just calms your whole system? Your shit is refreshed right now.
I don't know. This was nerve-wracking.
It was, no.
This was nerve-wracking to me,
And this was a practice round. No, you got to trust in yourself. You got to remember that we've been doing this for years, talking to people. That's how we got into comedy, right?
Yeah.
It's because we always knew we were expert communicators. We could talk to anybody about anything and relate to them. So this is a skill that you already have. You've been honing it for years and years, and now you're ready for it.
All right.
You got this.
All right. Thank you. Love you.
Go get it. Love you.
You still in here? You got art therapy. Hurry up. You got a show live. Come on, let's go.
100, 1,000, 3,000.
Because I can.
Oh. I appreciate you.
Hey,
Oh,
what's up? What's up?
hi.
Hey. Wait, I'm late. I know I'm late. Don't tell me. So, all right, what we gotta do?
Hey, it's nice to see you. How's
I
it
know.
going?
I'm limping all around this hallway.
Are we good to go?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right,
Just,
let's kill the lights.
Man, I gotta stretch.
That's
Wait,
right.
oh, look. Oh, man.
Hey,
So, all right. So,
how are you feeling? What's going on?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Thank you for doing this with me.
Of course.
I'm pretty nervous.
You're
'Cause-
nervous?
Yeah, because I got like sloppy handwriting. And like, I used to be able to draw when I was a kid.
Okay.
But now, like as an adult, like I think.
Kinda got out of the-
yeah,
out of the
I think
swing
I
of
like
it.
suck at it. And you got all these colors that I know I can't do anything with. But I may use that glitter though. Like, what is art therapy?
So art therapy is therapy, but instead of relying based solely on dialogue and kind of conversation, you bring the creative process into the space. So we use different art materials to kind of provide different experiences for folks. And also it gets us connected to our creativity, which I think allows us to make things happen for us in a different way, right? So you're saying you're nervous. What are you nervous about? I want to hear more about this.
What if I like make something and then you go, oh, I gotta put this in like my crazy pile. Like,
You're
because when I was
I have
younger,
no
they
crazy
made me
pile.
do stuff like this. When I was like younger, they made me do stuff like this, and like literally every time I drew a picture, the dosage of my medicine went up. Every time, they were like, oh, look at this little dragon. All right, we're gonna up them to 30 milligrams a day.
Dang. All right. Well, we'll make it easier for you then. We're gonna leave these aside, and what I'm gonna have you do, because it sounds like your inner critic is a little loud today. And you're really,
my
like,
inner
doubting
critic is
yourself.
always loud. My
So
inner critic talk like Exhibit.
Yes.
He's just like, yeah, well, you can't do that. You need a Hemi.
All right. So let's make your inner critic your inner heckler,
Okay.
since we're in the comedy scene, and we'll use this material called model magic. Right.
You pulling out bags?
Pulling out bags. All right. So I have it in all different colors. We're gonna go with the.
You need help?
First.
You got it. Oh, you got it.
I got it. I'm a pro.
Strong black woman. I see you. What am I supposed to do with this?
You're gonna create it into something that represents your inner heckler.
But
so
you
any
know
kind
what
of
happens,
creature.
right? You know what happens? Growing up, anytime you gave me clay, I just made penises. That's it. That's all you made. They were like, go ahead, make something. You be like,
You know what? It's almost 10 out of 10 times it is a little phallic, but we can work with that, okay?
yeah, no,
So I'm
I ain't
getting
gonna make
you
no
stuff.
penis now.
So your inner heckler is just a big penis.
All right. So I gotta make somebody.
Yeah. Or it can be like a creature, not a person. It can be, maybe it's a.
All right. See, this is like
Animal.
the thing, because I'm thinking, I'm also, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking about what you would think is creative. Like, I'll be like, I don't know what to make because I don't know what she think is dope. Now,
Well,
what
it's
does
not
that
about
mean
me.
about me?
What do you think?
I don't know, that's why you here.
That's why I'm here?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I'm not here to.
that's why they asked you to be a guest, and we're doing this mock interview, but I want to know.
So
All right, look, that's not a penis. Could be a ball,
it could be, yeah, it's very
but it's
scrotal.
not. We're not gonna look at it like a ball. And then,
Okay. Well, does it have eyes? Does it have a mouth?
oh, you want me to make a face? All right,
You
so
want
tell me
to-
what to make. Tell me what to do.
Well, I can't tell you what to do.
What do you mean you can't tell me what to
That
do?
wouldn't
This
be
is
very
art therapy. You're supposed to tell me how to express myself. No, that's not how art therapy
It's
works.
not how it works. So what
So
I'm here to do
supposed
is
sit here and create.
yeah, whatever makes sense for you. I know it's
That's so hard.
it's not easy work.
That's like asking somebody to do stand-up on the spot. This is equivalent to like, yo, tell me a joke. This is the emotional equivalent of going, tell me a joke. You're like, hey, what's your deepest, darkest fear? Make it. And I'm like, what? What if I just want to make a pizza?
Make a pizza.
All right, look, I'm being indecisive, right? Is that like a thing? Like, is that like something that I need help with? My indecisiveness?
You know, you don't strike me as particularly indecisive, but
I'm
you seem
indecisive.
like you just really want to make the best thing. And
Yeah.
I think it speaks to the fact that you really want to perform and show up and have people understand and connect with you, which I think is a powerful thing. I know you do. So I see that.
Thank you. All right, look at that. I think this is something. I think this is the base of something.
The base of something?
Yeah. What if somebody is doing art therapy and then you find out they're racist? What do you do? Like if they're like, oh, this is a lot of white you gave me. What if they make something like racist? What would you do?
Well, I'd be curious about it. I'd be like, why are you making racist objects? You know, I think when you kind of create space for someone and you build that relationship, things come up. So if they're racist, they're racist. And that's something to kind of explore.
How do you handle that? How do you handle racist? Or are you not allowed to tell me?
Well, my job isn't to give advice, so that's the tough part, because I think as a person I struggle with it, right? So I kind of have to check that feeling. But you know, I think often when folks are so focused on difference, it's like very, very fear-based, right? And also just lacking the critical thinking and the sensitivity to nuance in people's experiences.
Okay.
So I kind of try to gear it towards that before hitting the racist part right away.
I like that. You diverted.
We circle back because I think people, you know, they get really defensive and put walls up, and there's always a reason why we are the way we are. And I think when someone is walking around with profoundly racist, sexist, you know, transphobic, whatever you have ideology, there's a lot of layers as to why that is.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So you don't want to like
scare it off.
Yeah, you don't want to
scare it away, because you know all that's like an alley cat, right? It's like a scared cat. It's like, oh, I see that racism peering from around the corner. Like,
that pretty.
And you end up like, hey, what you doing?
Yeah.
You end up like, here you go. Come out.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I dig it. All right, I'm not racist at all, so we don't got to try to crack that case today.
Good.
Oh, I know what I'm making.
I don't think we have time for that. Oh, what you making?
I'm about to do it. Wait, did I just mess your stuff up?
So how is this looking? Does it remind you of anybody?
Yeah, it's coming together along. It reminds me of, like, while I was in foster care, like I learned, like I had experiences that I think made me realize the world a little quicker than a lot of like other kids that I was around. Does that sound weird?
That sounds accurate. So what kind of things did you pick up on?
So like I learned about perception very early.
Okay.
And I think perception is like they say perception is reality, but that's like corny, because it's like everybody has different perceptions. We all see things different ways. Like I see myself differently from how you see me. You know?
Yeah, of course.
And it doesn't match up all the time, right?
Yes.
And I used to live with this very like religious family who put God first before everything. They put God before bills. Like they'd be like, they'd be backed up on bills, and they'd be like, God got me. It's like, no, Con Ed got you. You need to pay that bill. You need to pay up.
Right.
But they would like do stuff like that. They never really would try to understand things or whatever. And like when I was younger, I was living with this family, and they lied to the government. They said that they had like room for me there, but they didn't at all. Like, because like that's one of the things you gotta have. Like, in order to be a foster parent, you gotta prove that you can provide, even if you have your own kids.
Yes.
They had their own kids, but they couldn't really, you know what I mean? It's like, why are you getting extra? Like, you can't even afford it. You can't afford extra. So they had me like sleeping in their daughter's room, who was like back and forth in college. Like she was serious about it. Like she really wasn't serious about it. Like she would like drop out every time she got like a new boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I would sleep in her room, and she had like a very big collection of stuffed animals. Oh. And I never really touched it, cause like I'm just like like growing up in foster care, I learned how to be very out of the way. I'm like, I don't touch this stuff. I'm not gonna, like, I keep my stuff like in my corner. If I'm messy, it's in my area. So I'm very like that. I don't touch stuff, people's things. So she had this like bunny collection, and in this in this stuffed animal collection, she had a bunny, and like it had like a gigantic hole in it that she found, and I knew nothing about it, and I thought she was blaming me for like destroying her property, but she took it a step further. She blamed me for like sodomizing it. Like she assumed because it had a hole in it that somebody did something disgusting to her. She thought it was like some Law and Order episode that like I had sex with her stuffed animal, and
Yikes.
like they believed it. They believed it because they were like, my mom's on drugs, my dad's in and out of jail, and they're like, duh. Like,
Yeah.
of course he has sex with stuffed animals. Like, what else would he do? So, and I was like, really like, I was like defending myself. I threw temper tantrums trying to prove that I wasn't. I'm like, I didn't do it. Like, the hole is way too big. Like, I know me. You know? I know me. I know my body.
Right.
But I got in trouble.
I hear you.
And
That
I had
sounds
to
really
like
hard.
go there. I went to therapy, but they didn't really. They just kept. They were like, I told them I didn't do it, and they'd be like, and they keep circling back. So,
You sure you didn't do it?
yeah, they wouldn't even say you sure didn't do it. They'd be like, so, do you want your own bunny with that? Like, I don't want anything. I didn't do it. I didn't even think it was the sexy bunny. It wasn't like
They didn't look good.
Yeah, it wasn't like, you remember Space Jam?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even
Even
like one
that
of those
Lola
bunnies.
Rabbit? Yeah,
It wasn't Lola or any of those things.
Yeah, so you've had a lot of people kind of put things on you for a long time.
Yeah.
And have been misunderstood for a while.
Yeah.
Growing up, how does that play into your stand-up?
I think I'm still figuring it out. I think I dragged that into my stand-up. I'm trying to get to a point where I don't care, but it takes a while.
Yeah, and you're
You know what I
human.
mean? Yeah.
You know, we always, I think, at the end of the day, want to be seen and understood and cared for. So
Yeah.
that's going to show up in different areas of our lives.
Yeah. I get very personal, but sometimes when you get very personal, you can become unrelatable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because everybody wants to be related to, but then if I'm telling you about foster care and either people haven't been through that situation or they just don't feel like talking about it, then it's a different feel in the room.
Right.
They're like, all right, I don't know if I should feel sad. Well, I'm not bringing these things up to feel sad. I'm like, I thought they were hilarious. Like, I thought it was looking back, I'm like, that was so funny that they thought I beat the cheeks of a stuffed animal. Like, I was just out there working it. Like, I wasn't attracted to little girls. Like, I wasn't like, but I'm like, nah.
Just stuffed animals.
Yeah, look at this. This is what I think I drew. I think I drew, but let's see. Does it look like a bunny or does it look just creepy?
Ooh, it definitely has a bunny feel. It's like short
Yeah.
little ears though.
I know. Oh, you're right. That thing looked like a
So it's
Pokemon.
like, oof.
There we go.
What would the Pokemon name be?
This one right here, it would probably be Sadachu, like sodomized Pikachu.
Sadachu.
Sadachu!
Unfortunately, there are a lot of mental health professionals that don't really get it either. Lack critical thinking skills, nuance, all the things you were talking about.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Boom, look at that. You can't tell me this ain't dope. You can't
I could
tell
not
me
if
this
I
ain't dope.
wouldn't want to.
Does it look like, be honest, on the, like, out of all your
Okay.
clients, is this not the best? You wouldn't put this on your desk? Like, throw it in some clay, like, throw it in the oven?
Yeah.
Bake it,
Bake it?
paint it,
It might melt if I bake it. But I see in the center there's a big bow.
because if I didn't put the bow in it, you'd be like, oh, what you make, a mouse? But it's a bow.
Yeah, it has big eyes too.
Big eyes. Do you think I should have like a pupil, or what do you think?
I think it works.
Yeah.
It looks critical.
So,
Looks like it's about to heckle you. I think you got the job done.
what should I do now? Do we smash it? Do we kill it? Or do we like just?
You get to decide that. It's your inner heckler.
I think I'm gonna hold on to it, right? And then, yeah, like when I feel like it's past, then I'll just roll it up, right? When I feel like I'm completely over the situation, I'll just and make something new.
Make something new.
Yeah.
That's a
All
good
right,
plan.
Amanda. I feel like I did a lot of talking. I feel like we got into some feels and stuff. This would be good for the episode. I think this would be dope. Like once we actually record the actual show, this
Right.
would be good.
I agree.
All right.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to make this together.
Yeah. Here, give me some love, and
All
I'm
right,
out. I'm about to go stretch. Oh my God. Why did I do this? Why did I say The hell are you doing here, man? How'd you get coffee? Why are you here, Bobby?
A friend of ours told me you were in town shooting something, so I had to come by.
Well, now you see. You can leave.
I got something to tell you.
It ain't nothing you can tell me. You ruined my childhood.
I think your parents beat me to that one.
You let everybody think that I freaking forced myself on you.
What? That's not my fault. I got jumped by a gang of moths.
You're the one that had the gigantic hole in your back.
What is this, Toy Story? What are you talking about?
You're talking to me.
Am I? Who sees a hole in a stuffed animal, me, and assumes a penis did it?
They call me Monroe Cottontail, man.
That's actually pretty nice.
No, it's not. It's actually not funny. It's corny. You know this family was super religious. They took me to church to repent for my sins that I never committed. I had to go to church every single day. So much Jesus wasn't even on the cross.
He probably was in the back practicing poses like, on Sunday I'm gonna do this one. On this Sunday I'm gonna do this one.
He's probably wearing sweatpants. Just chilling.
Oh, man.
What did you have to tell me, man?
Look, let's get serious. Look, man, I'm married and I'm having a son along with 13 other kids. And, just thinking about that, my son coming into this world and just thinking about what I did to you, I wouldn't want anyone else to do that to me or my kid. And if they did, I would hop all over their ass.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, at the core of it, I'm sorry. I should have been there for you and I wasn't. And if you want to continue to be mad at me and harbor negative feelings, I understand. But I'm naming 3 of my kids after you. So that's that. I'll go now.
Hey, wait. Let me see this wife of yours, man.
Really?
Yeah, let me see what you're working with. Let me see. Is it? Ooh-wee! Somebody like that cotton candy?
Yeah, I met her in Atlanta at Cascade Skating Rink, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. Speaking of, man, you should come over this Easter, man. I got some special eggs I'm gonna be laying this year.
All right. I think about it, man.
Cool, man.
Hold on a second.
Are you hiding right now?
No, I was in here talking to Bunny. Whoa, I was in here masturbating.
Oh, you're that nervous, huh? All right, come on, your expert's waiting. Wash your hands before you go down.
What's up, Miss Mo?
Hi, Monroe.
How you doing?
Good.
Sorry,
How are
man.
you?
All right, can we get lights, please? And we're going in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, so.
Hey.
Hi.
Congratulations on the show.
Thank you very
exciting.
much. I appreciate
I'm
you.
honored to be one of your first guests.
I'm honored to have you here. This is my honor for you to be my first guest. Look at the desk. It's beautiful, right?
It
You
is
see
a
this?
beautiful desk.
Beautiful desk.
Gorgeous.
They got it from IKEA.
Congratulations on the desk, too.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So, you work at Casa. Well, you don't work at Casa. You are at Casa. That's how I know you.
No, I'm not. Well, I am the executive director of Casa, Court-Appointed Special Advocates of New York City, just, for people who don't know the whole thing. But the people who are Casa really are the staff and the volunteers. As you know, we're a volunteer-based organization, so they're the heart of the organization. And, of course, the kids in foster care who we serve.
That's how I know you're a boss right there. Because what you just did was you took all the attention. You was like, no, it's everybody. Everybody plays a part.
That's right.
I'm just the person who
Absolutely.
keeps it in motion. Now,
Exactly.
I was in care, but I don't know how many kids were in care. How many kids are in care, and how many of them do you actually help navigate through the system? Because that's what your job is. Your job is to
Yes.
kind of stop kids from getting lost in the nooks and crannies.
Right. So Casa. So first of all, right now on any given day, there's about 8,000 or so kids in foster care in New York City alone, which is down from more than 40,000 in the 90s when you were in care.
Yeah.
So drastic reduction in the foster care census. Casa NYC serves about 1,200 kids. And the way we get involved with kids is that a family court judge appoints Casa to a case when they're concerned that the kid is getting lost in the system, they're falling through the cracks, maybe they're getting kind of stuck in the system for too long, or they're not getting their needs met. So the judge asks Casa to come in and help and provide a one-on-one advocate to make sure that that kid's moving through the system. The goal is to get them home, preferably reunified with their parents as quickly as possible, whenever that's possible.
So do you work side by side with the social worker? Or do y'all replace the social worker? Is this?
No, we don't replace the social worker. Casa is sort of outside of the child welfare system.
Okay.
And what we do is our volunteer, it's typically a volunteer advocate who goes through intensive training and screening and all that. The advocates, the volunteers are supervised by our staff, who are social workers and attorneys, and their job is to really communicate with all the parties on the case. So when you're in a courtroom, everybody, the child, the parent, ACS, the child welfare agencies, they all have their own attorneys and they're parties to the case. CASA is not a party to the case, so one of the things that means is that we can communicate with everybody and we can sort of facilitate the communication.
So you can, like, you're the liaison. Not the liaison, you're more like the personal trainer. You like, hey, get them abs together.
Yes.
Like you're going around making sure everybody stays tight.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're also reporting back to the judge. So sometimes judges appoint us because they say, you know, I'm not really sure what's going on in this case. A judge has about 53 minutes a year with a case in front of them. So they don't have the time to really get to know what's going on. It's not a lot of time, and sometimes they've got different parties telling them different things and they're not sure what's real, so they ask CASA to kind of get to the bottom of it, and we report back to the judge. And we try to work really closely with the social worker, the caseworker, the attorneys, you know, everybody involved in the case. But sometimes if things aren't getting done the way they need to be done, or kids aren't really having their needs met, we have to report that back to the judge. And part of what we're doing is helping the judge to hold the foster care system accountable.
Yeah.
Make sure the kids are getting what they deserve.
I like that. That was something that was needed when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would show up to court with all my agents and managers and all this stuff, and nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Nobody. But that's good. So I aged out of care, right? Do you still deal with kids who like kind of aged out?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, so at CASA, probably about 25% of the cases that we're assigned are kids, young people. I shouldn't call them kids. Young people who are adolescents who are aging out of the system or likely to age out of the system. They're 16 and over. The goal is often what they call now APLA. They used to call it independent living. Now they call it APLA.
What's APLA stand for?
It stands for Another Planned Permanent Living Arrangement. In other words,
who's in charge of these acronyms? What the hell? Who was better than SIL? I had supervised independent living, and that was SIL.
That was fun, right?
Yeah.
Those apartments. So what it means is that basically you have been in foster care, you didn't get reunified with your parents, you didn't get adopted, you didn't get a permanent family. So now it's in New York, kids can stay in foster care until age 21.
Yeah.
But you can sign yourself out at 18 if you want to. But most of the time, when you're 18,
it's cold world out there. I'm not signing myself out.
They don't most of the time. And so often a judge will assign us to a case when a young person is about to age out of the system.
Yeah.
They don't have a high school diploma. They don't have a job. They don't have housing. And they're about to turn 21 and age out in 6 months. And so we assign a volunteer who's been specially trained in working with adolescents and in the process of aging out and kind of getting all those resources. And especially with older youth, our volunteers really serve as one-on-one. They're advocates, but they're also mentors. They're often kind of forming lifelong relationships. They're acting as that adult because everybody needs, you know, one caring, consistent adult in their corner.
Absolutely.
And when a kid ages out of the system, a young person ages out of the system, what happens is all those supports they've had their whole lives, and often they've been very institutionalized. They're not used to really making decisions themselves. Those supports fall away. And so they're kind of on their own, and their caseworker can't help them anymore, and their attorney can't help them anymore. So the CASA volunteer continues to help them and make sure that they've got their housing and that they've got their, you know, a job or their educational plan in place.
I like
so it's
this.
pretty
This
cool.
is good.
Yeah,
I like this.
yeah.
Is somebody you can call after the fact. So
Yeah.
y'all always be there. Y'all are there for those 4 a.m. you up. Like, hey, look, I need some guidance right now.
I mean, we try to talk about boundaries, but those of us who don't grow up in foster care, when we turn 18 or 21, we usually have our parents to still guide us. And we call them and say, like, how many hours do I have to defrost the turkey? Or, ask them those questions. And young people who've been in foster care don't always have that.
Yeah, I was trying to call my child advocate on Thanksgiving. Like, hey, how do I cook a turkey? They was like, why are you still calling?
They didn't answer?
I was like, that's not my job.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what is the goal for the foster care system? Is it to take all the kids that are in homes that are abusive and unsafe and put them in better homes, or is it to fix the homes that they're in and maybe like deal with the parents and the family and give them counseling and stuff?
So it's a really good question, and I think that's another area where the system has changed or made a lot of progress since you were in care. I think the system overall has a much better understanding of the trauma that's caused to a child when that child is removed from their home. One of the reasons this foster care census has gone from over 40,000 to 8,000 is because we have put a lot, in New York City in particular, a lot more emphasis on preventive services. So learning to, when a child protective case is called in and somebody identifies something going on in the home where there's maybe substance abuse or mental illness or something unsafe, then we send a social worker into the home whenever possible, try to help those parents get the services, get the support that they need. We talk about child abuse and neglect, but only a small percentage of cases are actually physically abused, children are physically abused or sexually abused. It's the vast majority are neglect. And those neglect cases are really very often related to chronic poverty, structural racism, all the things that we know people who are living in poverty experience, including often substance abuse as a coping mechanism, mental illness, and so helping those issues get resolved, helping parents get those issues resolved while their kids can still live with them, and being able to provide that support to them is much better for kids in the long run, because even kids who have been abused, I think in the vast majority of the cases, it's in their best interest, unless it's a really severe situation, to be able to stay with the parents whenever possible.
Well, growing up, it was like my social worker would come in the house, do like pop-ups, like maybe call them like a day or two before and go, I'm gonna inspect your house. And they would check out the drawers, they would check their fridge, they would check their cabinets, they would make sure that all the water was running, the heat is paid, all that stuff. And that scared off a lot of like my family members who like I would like go visit, and they would like, I wouldn't stay with them, but they would tell me to go, I would get you, but they're too invasive. They're all up in my business. And is it still like that?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it's like the standard for foster parents is higher than the standard for
regular
parenting, right? So, you were mentioning to someone else earlier, you have to have a separate bedroom for, you can't have two, even if it's your sister, if over a certain age, you can't live in the same bedroom, which is ridiculous. This is New York City. People live, their whole lives in the bedrooms with 4 siblings. And so the standards are really high, and it is something that is very invasive. And I think people, especially people who aren't high-income people, who are used to having like a lot of monitoring, a lot of intervention, a lot of police, a lot of social workers around up in their business, they don't want to lose their own kids. They don't want. People are afraid of what is going to happen if social worker comes in and decides something isn't perfect with your house.
That happens. So you're telling me like a person can go, I want to help out foster kids, and then somebody will come in, the social worker will come in and go, you know what, these kids.
I mean, I'm not saying I haven't actually seen that happen, but I think people are afraid of that happening. So that's one of the reasons that sometimes people don't take on. People don't want to get involved with having their homes monitored. And so sometimes, like in higher income families, if you want to take on your nephew, and you don't need the financial support of the foster care system,
Yeah.
you can just go to court and get guardianship, and then you don't have to be monitored. But when you can't afford to have another person living under your roof, and you need the help in order to feed them and clothe them, then you need to go through the foster care system, and it makes it a lot more complicated. So it's one of the reasons why we have so much disproportionality in the systems in terms of race.
Okay, because I was thinking that, like, growing up, I lived with a lot of poor families, and I've always felt, I was like, my family was poor, like everybody in my family was like struggling, and then I would live with other people that were struggling, and I always thought that was weird. I always was like, well, if they're struggling,
the foster homes are struggling.
Yeah, I'm like, because there were homes that I was in that didn't have heat and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Did they like kind of make it like a little bit more strict now, where you have to like make a certain amount of money? Would that actually help if they were like, hey, in order for you to become a foster parent, you have to make X, Y, Z amount a year?
I mean, you do have to have an income of your own,
Yeah.
But it can be public assistance. It doesn't have, you have to have a stable income where you can provide for your own household.
Yeah.
And then the stipend that, the foster care system gives you is supposed to be used to, support that child. But it is true that a lot of foster parents are also low income.
Yeah.
There isn't a rule that you can't be.
Yeah.
Recruiting foster parents is really problematic. It's it's really hard to recruit foster parents. And I think it's one of the biggest challenges in the system is not having enough foster parents.
Yeah.
So sometimes, yes, I think they have to have heat. They're expected to have heat.
Oh, I slept in coats before.
Yeah,
and I actually
but
liked
of
it. It
course,
was more comfortable
like you
than
said,
like
the
sheets.
social worker
Yeah.
calls and pops by, and sort of they don't always necessarily know what's going on. Although I do think that the monitoring and the accountability is better now than it was.
Okay. That's good.
But it's not great. I hear horror stories.
Yeah, I just hope that it would change just a little bit more,
Yeah.
that it got better. But from what it sounds like, programs like Casa exist that didn't really happen when I was younger, so that's pretty good. That's good that, that people are stepping up and stepping in and just moving in a good direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. I think overall, it's getting better. I think it's, and I think the most important thing is that we're putting those services into preventing foster care placement.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still hard, and it's hard for anybody for any kid to wind up in foster care.
How does one become a part of Casa? Like, because you have a bunch of volunteers, how does people get down and lay down?
So we have a lot of New Yorkers stepping up wanting to be volunteers.
Good.
And they go through an application process. So first they put in an application, they come to an information session, which is just to learn about it. It's a pretty intense volunteer gig. It's not like going to a soup kitchen once a month. They're required to commit about 5 hours a week, and once you get assigned to a kid, you need to stay with that kid for the life of the case. You don't want to kind of do more harm than good. So they go through a screening process, background checks, criminal background checks and sex offender checks and all that kind of stuff. And then they have to go through a at least 30-hour pre-service training. So a whole bunch of training. And then they get sworn in by a family court judge. And then they get assigned to a supervisor who's a social worker or attorney who works with Casa. And then they get assigned to their first case. So it's a pretty long process. Sometimes there's a waiting list. Although I'll say one of the things we get a lot of people come to us mostly word of mouth. Also Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil?
Yeah. So Dr. Phil's wife is on the board of National Casa, so he talks about Casa a lot.
Oh, that's
so
great.
a lot of times people are like, oh, I heard about you on Dr. Phil, and so that's cool. But one of the things we're trying to do is increase the diversity of our volunteers because
do you want more volunteers of color?
Yes.
Okay.
We want more diversity, more people of color, more people who live in the communities that our kids come from. And it's hard because having the time to volunteer is like a thing that privileged people, sometimes takes privilege. So a lot of our volunteers, and they're amazing and they're wonderful and they have, unbelievable compassion and they work really hard. So it's not to say that we're not grateful for all the middle-class white volunteers we have, but we would like to recruit more people of color.
Well,
when I make it, help me with that.
Hey, look, I'm there already.
All right, cool.
But once
you want to be an advocate?
Hell yeah. For real, I want to be an advocate. I want to do all this stuff, but I want to make sure that I get my house together first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's important because once you make that commitment, you got to be there for that kid. And
but also, I want to be able to take a kid and show them, like, hey, look, I came from this situation. Look what I got. Look what I'm doing. Like, it ain't, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, look, I got a place with a terrace in New York.
Yeah.
You can
that's
do
important.
this.
You got a terrace? Can I come over?
Well, not yet. That's what I'm working towards.
Okay.
So
Once
when
you
I
get
get
that
the terrace, I'm going to hit you up. And I'm like, yo, make me a volunteer now.
Okay, cool. That sounds like a plan.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much
Thank
for coming, Miss Carrie Moles.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
I hope what you take away from tonight is you can help a foster kid in care. You don't have to have a gigantic place on the mountains. You don't have to have a fat bank account. All you have to do is have passion, all right? There are plenty of programs that will help you direct your passion and allow you to volunteer. You got Casa, which is court-appointed special advocates, and you got other places you can just Google because you have fingertips in the data plan, all right? Let's help some foster kids. Let's get busy. Let's get involved. All right? What's it going to take for you to get active? All right, I'm feeling good. Let's make it a show.
And everybody wants to waste my
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of CGP. My name is Chris Gethard. I want to thank you for watching, tuning in, spreading word, joining the Discord, subscribing on Twitch, subscribing on YouTube, all that good stuff. I am so psyched about everything the comedians have been pulling off as part of the show, and I'm so psyched for you to see tonight's episode. If I remember right, I first met this comedian, I was doing a show at Stand Up New York, if I remember right, and as soon as we started talking, I was like, this is one of the most charismatic, likable, funny human beings I have met in comedy, where most people are kind of off-putting creeps. This guy is so likable, so funny, and I'm so excited for you to get to know him. Everyone, please welcome MonroeMartin.
Welcome to System Failure. I am MonroeMartin, and we're going to have a great show for you this evening.
I'm tired of sitting around the house. I'm tired of sitting around the house. The mission always on mine. And everybody wants to waste mine.